Okay, yes sir, welcome to the first official episode of 22 and No Clue. As I said, this is the first official episode, and I've brought with me special guest, someone I've known for about 8 or 9 years of my life. So yeah, give a virtual applause to my boy Tim.
Hey everyone, it's Tim Arden. So as Kyle said, we've known each other for a while, and yeah, I'm just here to tell you about, being 22 with no clue and almost 23. And I guess I'm still 22 with no clue though right now, so.
Yes, sir. I mean, literally, it's my birthday next week.
Yeah.
And then yours in a few days after. So yeah.
I guess we can start 23 with no clue.
Nah, it's keeping it cute. It's in line with the brand. In line with the brand. So like we said, known each other for couple of years now. First met in 2013? P2?
I'd say so, yeah.
It's a boarding school in Ruiru. If you're from Kenya, you know what that is. Maybe you don't. Yeah, so we both went to Peponi. I came second term of year 9.
Yeah.
Because I was coming from an 844 school, St. Mary's.
I think our school was quite special in the way that its size, like the actual amount of pupils. Yeah. And for us, I feel like everyone in our year was quite involved with everyone else. And, even though you're in a different boarding house, I was I was always up there, inshallah.
Yeah.
And everyone, I was in a different house, but I was always at their house, and we always hung out and became pretty close, and we had our own. I mean, it was more like concentrated groups, of course, but overall we got along with everyone, and I think everyone can agree on that, really, who know us. And
I mean, it's true. You always, because Magadi was downstairs and Charles was upstairs. I'm pretty sure still. I don't know how it is nowadays, but
it's been a while now.
Yeah, it's been ages. But always used to be upstairs, because in our boarding school, especially in year 9, you'll set up. You have 4 people in one room, 2 beds and a bunk bed. And I remember Tim every weekend, because you're a full boarder, yeah.
Yeah.
Every weekend I'd come because I was a weekly. I think the only other full boarder in our room was Ivan.
Yeah.
And then every weekend we'd come back on Monday. Tim would be in, I think it was Tiger's bed. And Tiger would literally come back and find burgers, bread underneath his pillow.
The thing is, I want to clear the air out right now that the pieces of food that were left behind back in Tiger's bed was not my doing completely. There were others enjoying a meal in that bed.
Nah.
And
Bro.
I just got the short end of the stick because I was the one sleeping there. I think some people, we need to maybe tell them how there's full boarders weekly, and then you have the day students. And
yeah, so when I came to the UK and when I was working one of my jobs, I told one of the guys that I used to go to boarding school in Kenya. And then this guy, his mood switched up. He was like, oh my goodness. Because he treated me like I was damaged or something.
Yeah.
And then it's because he's, to be fair, he's kind of a bit older. Yeah. So I guess his vision of boarding school was cruel, guys in there getting abused. But I mean, I wasn't really like that with Peponi, but I mean, especially when I was in year 9, I remember my first night. So basically, just to give some context, especially when you're a junior, year 9, you have to be in bed by a certain time. I think it was 9:30 or 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and that's on the dot, kind of. So on my first night, I was there. I was dilly-dallying, getting ready for bed, and I remember hearing one of the prefects who was in year 12 or year 13 coming down the corridor, and bro. And now I'm still there in my locker, putting stuff away. Then he's like, why are you still out?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just be a minute. He's like, no, get in bed now. I'm like, no, just give me a few minutes. You know me, I was thinking that, it's relaxed, it's chill. But nah.
It's you did something wrong.
Yeah. No, after that night, I never went to bed late again. In terms of general misconceptions about boarding school, I feel I don't know, I feel like it's different in the UK. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, from my experience, I feel like boarding schools all over are they're pretty similar. And speaking to people who've also gone to boarding school, and we've all had the same experiences. And also, I think it really does, because it has to become your second home, and you really become much closer to the people that you live with, and you learn a lot about them, and you're pretty much they're like your brothers. And I mean, obviously the experience for everyone is different, and so I know some people who've gone to boarding school absolutely hated it. Yeah. And then while others loved it, like us. And
no, I feel like everyone like in our year pretty much like preferred, because even those times, even though I was a weekly boarder, like there'd be times, especially like in year 12 and 13, you'd still stay the weekends. Yeah. Just because, you know, like all your friends are there. But then, I wanted to kind of swing it back to you, because I know you left P2 in year 11.
Yeah, that's right.
So I just wanted to ask, was that your own decision, you know? How did you find the transition, leaving?
Well, you see, it was a bit strange, because I was only told about, so it wasn't my decision at all, no. And at the time, I was really upset about leaving P2. Yeah. And this was like the first time that I got so comfortable, you know. I mean, with my life, I've always moved around, and I was usually, when I've been living in other places, I knew that there was a time coming where I'd have to leave. And this time leaving P2 was actually so much harder, because I'd forgotten about that, like that I'm not here to stay. And so my parents were telling me now, thinking sometime in year 11, that they're looking at schools in the UK for me to go to. Yeah. Also boarding schools as well. I think I was just sad about saying bye to the friends, and I was also just not sure if I was going to see them again. I mean, and how easy it would be to see everyone again. And coming to the UK for boarding school, I'd say the boarding life is the same, but I think also it depends where you go to boarding school, because where we were in Kenya, we were quite in the middle of nowhere, you know. And when I came to boarding school here, we had a town near us, and there was way more interaction with the outside, and and it was quite, I mean, it was still enjoyable, and I made the same close friendships and relationships that I keep till today. And that's one of the benefits of boarding school. I think that we really get to come so close with everyone that we went with, and those are friends for life. And
I mean, but what was like the main difference you'd say between like boarding school in Kenya versus the UK?
The culture, definitely. I think Kenya's, maybe it was also because of like the time was changing, but I guess like it was more of when coming to the UK, there was more cliques, and there was definitely more like separation of groups, you know. Yeah. And there was that whole like almost like jocks, nerds, and whatever type groupings. And I think also the people, like, you had some, because it was a pretty international school as well, that I went to. Yeah. And even P2 was quite international, but this one was way more countries that like I hadn't even heard of before, and or I've heard of and just never even known anyone from there.
Damn, so you went to a bougie boarding school. Yeah. Well, I mean, you said it's different socially. I mean, I can imagine, because I feel like did you find like that was kind of a precursor for what life would be like at a UK university?
Definitely. I think it all, like, I'd been out of the UK prior to coming to Kenya, I was out of the UK for I don't know how many years now. It was, including the time in Kenya, and then before Kenya I was in the States. Yeah. But I'd forgotten what the UK is like, and I'd only come back maybe to see family, and I was in a small bubble, you know, just around like aunts, uncles, cousins. Yeah. And the mindset is also very different. I think in Kenya it was a more like one for all for one type thing, and then over here it was like all for whoever is like close to me, whoever like is, right. You know. I didn't feel that as inclusive, I'd say.
What, the UK?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. But then, yeah, because obviously you still studied A-levels and all that
Yeah.
in the UK. And I guess, do you think it would have made a difference if you did your A-levels in Peponi, for example?
Honestly, I feel like because of the shift of like coming to a new place
Yeah.
and like having to resettle sort of myself,
Yeah.
it was, I'm not sure if it, I think like at the time I remember thinking to myself like I probably would have done better in if I stayed in P2 and like I would have done better on my grades.
Yeah.
I still did fine, but I feel like I could have gotten, I would have been way more.
Yeah, you felt like the disruption,
Yeah.
like, to your life was a bit too much.
Yeah, to some extent. And I mean, after the first year of doing A levels, I got a lot more settled. You know, I had my friendship group, and life was good. So
that whole A-level experience, just swinging it back to mine, especially because obviously I carried on till year 13, so I did my A-levels in Peponi. And yeah, I mean, I just remember because it was the week of my final year 13 exams.
Yeah.
And I remember like on the day I got sick, I had like 5 exams that week, like all in back to back, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I had 5 exams.
That's hell.
So yeah, I mean, did my exams. I mean, in mocks and everything, my predicted grades, I had like A's and like a few B's. So obviously, the uni application process, you have to do UCAS in year 12 or whenever it is.
Yeah.
You apply to them, they look at your predicted grades, they give you offers based on your predicted grades. So obviously, because I did law, so I wanted to go into law. So, you know, the grades for law are like sometimes like A star, AA, or AA, AAA, AAB, for example. So, but then obviously with my predicted grades, like I got those offers. But then when it actually came to doing the exams, like a guy underperformed.
Yeah.
Underperformed heavily. But I mean, so yeah, then I remember that day so vividly. Like I remember I was like taking a shower. Then like I think it was results day. So on results day, like Peponi like emails your parents and you like your results basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember I was literally taking a shower. My mom like knocks on the door. She's like, "Your results are in." I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
And she opened them already, or?
Yeah, because they got sent to her email.
Wow.
So it was a thing of like, yeah, they've already seen it. I'm like, okay. I look at them. I'm like, damn. What's next?
Damn.
Yeah, because then the next few days, because my journey to uni, I don't even know if you know this, like, bro, it was so hectic, man.
No, I didn't.
So yeah, I got my results. Wasn't what I needed for law. So I'm like, okay. So I emailed Kent Law School because that's where I wanted to go. That was my first choice. I emailed them. I'm like, listen, you know, you've seen my predicted grades. You know, if you're Kenyan, you know this thing of like you can talk to guys nicely. But these guys in the UK, they're like, hey, look, there's nothing we can do for you. So yeah, you know, I emailed them. I'm like, you know, you've seen my predicted grades. You know, like throughout the year, I've been getting like solid grades. Just I fell down, like I underperformed during the actual A-level exams.
Yeah.
They're like, nah, there's not really anything we can do. But then he said the next best thing they can do is put me on the IFP program. So it's like an international foundation program.
Oh, right.
So yeah, he tells me this. He's like, that's the best you can do. You have to apply for that as a separate application process. So now by this time it's like mid-August, like heading up to September. So, and then obviously because I'm international, so to apply to uni, like you need, first of all, your offer needs to be accepted. Then they need to give you a CAS whatever. That's like the thing that you need to apply for your visa. So yeah, you need to be accepted. They give you your CAS, you get your visa. But then for this new program, since it's like a foundation thing, they needed me to do the IELTS, which is basically
the English.
You know that?
Yeah.
Basically the English language tests.
Yeah.
So then, in my mind, I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm from Kenya, which English is literally the national language.
Yeah.
I've done and studied in English. I've literally done English language, English lit, as IGCSE and A-level subjects and gotten like A's.
Yeah.
But then they still need me to go and do a basic English test so I can prove that I know English. It's like, the whole thing is like so messed up. But yeah, so he told me, yeah, you need to do that. Like, you can't really take an alternative. So me, I'm like, okay. I search Kenya IELTS.
Yeah.
I open the thing. It tells me the next available date is in October. So now I'm like, okay, damn. That by that time, because then you have to do your IELTS. Then you have to wait for like 2-3 weeks to get your IELTS results.
Yeah.
You send them to the uni. Then they accept the offer. Then they send you a CAS. Then you can apply for a visa. Then you have to book your flights.
Yeah.
So by that time it was like you would not be able to register in September.
I don't get why so many unis care about the IELTS if you've already had like a IGCSE qualification or.
Yeah, no, I think it's because it's a government requirement because it's not the actual that program was like a level below the undergrad degree.
Right.
So they needed the IELTS.
Yeah.
I think it was just like a government requirement.
Yeah.
So basically I saw that. Then we're like, okay, so you're not going to be able to go in September. What's next? Now at this point my parents are like, it might be time you just look home. they took me to Strathmore.
Really?
Yeah, bro. They took me to Strathmore. I met like the dean of the law school.
Yeah.
You know, I talked to him. Really nice guy. He's actually in the UK right now, funnily enough. But yeah, when I spoke to him, you know, he was telling me about some of the benefits of studying law in Kenya. Right. But that's mainly if like you want to go back home and practice it in Kenya. Yeah, it'll be a lot easier. But you know, at that time it was just the whole thing of, you know, especially even being like in P2, like everyone was looking UK, Canada, US. Yeah, I think only like a very few people stayed to study in Kenya, and I think that was like for medicine and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, you know, you're just looking. I know it's, but at that age, you know, like like 17, 18.
Just follow.
It shouldn't be a factor, but like, you know, it's that thing of like all my friends are going to the UK. Yeah. I also want to go and experience it. I don't want to miss out. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so I just, you know, looking at my options, and it was just at that point it was kind of like I didn't really see a way forward. But then I'm like, surely how can there be no available IELTS tests open anywhere till October? So I searched in UG and Tanzania. Really? Yeah, bro. I was determined to go. I was determined to go.
That's good, man.
So yeah, I found one in Tanzania. Literally, I flew to Dar es Salaam for the weekend. Me and my mom. I did the IELTS there. Then at that point, you know, I started having a bit of hope. Like, yes, I've got a slot. I've done my IELTS. Yeah. They'll be here in time for September. But then, 2 weeks later, I get an email. Sorry, we have to delay the test results by 2 weeks. Damn. I'm like, damn, I can't catch a break. So now at this point, you know, I email the guys. I'm like, listen, I know you need the IELTS, but I can't get my results. But then the guy tells me, nah, there's not really anything we can do. Best thing you can do is join in February. Join in. There was a February start, right, or January start, whatever. So now, that was the only option I could take, really. Yeah. To join in Jan. But then, yeah, it was just that whole thing of I was so determined to go that I really had to find any way to get there.
No, another thing with like university here, I remember part of the reason why my parents were pushing me for me to come to the UK as well is even if you're like British but you've lived outside, the universities sometimes ask you like how long have you lived in the UK before you can actually like. Or they might have to like put you on like an international like your international like placement basically.
The program
and so that happens to some people, or like they can't secure funding as well. Yeah. So that was part of the reason why my parents also wanted me to come to the UK, and
so you're eligible for student loan.
Yeah, and also remember. Thinking to myself, like, what if I don't want to study in the UK though? Like, what if I want to go to Canada or the States? And they're just there, like, well, if you decide that, then at least in the UK, it's still easier to go there than from Kenya.
Yeah. Like that whole transition period. Because I remember when I finished year 13, like, I don't know if you remember, like, bro, I used to be a skinny guy, bro. Like,
Yeah.
like, basically, I weighed like 50, 55.
Hey, skinniest, man. Used to slide on the doors when they tried to lock you out.
But yeah, like, medically, I think I was like just a bit underweight. So basically, when I got that thing of like that realization of I wouldn't be able to go to uni till Jan, it was just like I came to a realization of, was I even ready to go in September? Because, like, yeah, you know, I was a skinny guy. I didn't even know how to cook, I don't think, at that point. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know how to cook, you know. Yeah, so it just became a thing of, I think it was a good thing I didn't go in September. Because basically that whole period of September to December, bro, it was like every day I went to the gym, I came back, I was cooking. Like, I began cooking, like, with my mom, dinner, everything for the family.
You're sort of becoming domesticated now.
Even got to the point my dad made jokes of like, hey, at this rate, you might not even go to uni, just go to culinary school. Save me some money. But yeah, those 3 months, bro, I just grinded in the gym, like, just learning different skills that, to be honest, I don't think I was ready to go to uni in September.
I don't think a lot of people were like when I went to uni in September, like, I definitely wasn't ready. Like, I didn't, I knew how to do basic cooking things, but I'd only seen cooking really, like, whether at home or anything, and I've never actually tried my hand at it, and I thought it was easy, and I just throw stuff together, and I was eating badly for the first year, and at least you were, in the first few months of, like, from September to February, at least you were eating well. Like, I was eating terribly.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people went, and it's because of that whole thing of, like, once you finish year 13, like, especially, I don't know, I think it might be different in the UK, but, like, especially in Kenya, it's this thing of, like, telling your parents, I want to take a gap year, like, that just, like, I don't know, I don't know anyone that really did that. Like, everyone, you had to go and do something.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, this concept of taking time off, taking a year off to just do whatever. Like, not a lot of people, especially back home, I feel like you're not able to do that.
It's not like when your parents don't give you that option as well, where they, like, from the start telling you, like, you can go to university afterwards, you know, get this degree, get this master's, and go on. But
yeah, I feel like that's just how like society is right now.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
You need to finish this, then go and do this. Like, you need to get that degree. I know people right now, like, we've done our undergrad, they've gone straight into masters.
Yeah.
And, like, that was one thing, especially I knew, like, I don't really, like, I was, especially because of COVID, like, bro, I got tired of studying, man.
I swear.
Like, once I got that, my law degree, I was like, let me just, you know, take it back a little bit. I want to get some proper work experience now. But yeah, I feel like that break before I went to uni, like, it was so helpful.
That's the thing. I wouldn't want to do, like, a full gap year. Yeah. But if I could just get more time, because eventually, like, the summer break before, like, after finishing A levels and then going to uni, it's a while, but you're still, like, at home, you're chill.
Yeah, you're not reaching. It's more guys are celebrating.
Yeah,
more than,
that's
like,
the
getting
thing.
ready for anything. Yeah.
But then with those extra months, like, you actually reach a point where you're like, oh, I need to learn some skills and you need to do something. Like, you get bored and you push yourself to, like, get some work experience maybe, or
true.
But I was so envious of so many people for going on, like, gap years, but you can also end up in a trap of, like, after doing your gap year where you're like, actually, I don't want to go to university.
Yeah.
And well, maybe it's not a trap depending on who you. It's not a trap at all, really. Just you decide later on, I don't want to go to university, and
I mean, yeah, that's also an option. Yeah. But I feel like I've seen mostly that's an option here in the UK. Yeah. Because through my girlfriend, like, and some of her friends, she's told me, like, they did A levels and then, like, they went straight into jobs. Yeah. Like, you can do, like, the apprenticeship levels. Yeah. Like, and not even, like, you know, you tell someone, like, it's an apprenticeship, they think, like, carpentry or something. Like, nah, these are guys that are working, like, in finance or, like, like in a barrister's office or something like that. Yeah. But then I feel like back home, that's not really advertised enough, or I don't even know if that exists. Like, that's how, like, I don't even know if it's there. This thing of, you know, you just finish school and you don't really need to go to university. You just go and, like, start a basic level, like, entry position and, like, a decent job. But then, like, that whole thing of back home, the mentality of you need your degrees, you need your papers.
You need some like accreditation.
Yeah. But I mean, that's just how it is. And yeah, that was basically like my route to getting to uni. And it wasn't easy, man. There was just too many twists and turns.
Bro, I would have done the same. I would have traveled like 6 hours. Like
hopes and expectations shattered. And then yeah, it was very long. But the way I knew I was ready was we had a family trip. I think that December, like for Christmas, where the whole family gets together, type of thing. You and all your cousins, and because at that point, I'd been like, going gym like consistently for like 3 months.
You felt you have something to show when you.
And then it's those ones where like usually before that, when you go in, like your auntie see, they're like, oh Kyle, you need to eat more.
Yeah.
But that holiday, they're like, okay Kyle, and that's how you've been.
Yeah.
It turns from you need to eat more to what have you been eating?
Yeah.
And that was a stamp of approval I needed, bro. That I knew I was ready.
Do you think it also helped with your confidence? Like,
oh yeah, for sure. Like, and I think that's one thing. Like, when you gym, you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
You become comfortable in your own skin, what you wear, type of thing. So yeah, that's why I said like I think it was a good thing I didn't really go in September because I don't think I would have been ready. So yeah. Ended up going in Jan, did my IFP program.
Yeah.
Smashed it.
Was it over the summer as well?
Yeah, so basically you start it was like the end of Jan, start of February.
Right.
So it was 6 months because with the February start, it was accelerated as opposed to starting in September where you have an extra whole few months.
Right.
So yeah, but that IFP program itself was also very demanding. I thought it would be like, not too bad, but it was also very demanding.
Prepare you for...
Because in terms of hours, because the February start is accelerated, so I had like 2-hour lectures, like almost every day, like back to back. So it was almost like a 9 to 5. Because there'll be some lectures you have 9 to 11. You have a little break between 11 and like 1. Then you go 1 to 3. You have a little break. Then you go like 4 to 6. And
you also have to do like some English classes. Like,
because it's just like mandatory. I think it's just government requirements.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to do English classes, but then obviously, like I said, I've been speaking English my whole life, so they weren't too hard. They weren't too hard. But then it was very, very in terms of like scheduling, it was demanding.
Rigorous, huh?
Yeah, and then especially because at that point, like that's when you're first coming to uni. So then now you feel like, oh, I've missed out on Freshers Week in September.
Yeah.
So now everyone on our program was like, okay, we need to also, live it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But then, you can't be going out and then you have like a 9 a.m. in the next morning and then you're just there and you're like, it's a bit booky. But then, I mean, it was still a very good experience though. Yeah. And then also because we spent like so many hours together, like those also became like pretty good friends of mine that I kept throughout like the whole uni journey.
Yeah.
How did you pick your uni?
So I picked my uni basically the most simplest way. I just searched. I knew I wanted to do engineering. I knew I wanted to do mechanical or electrical.
Yeah.
I mean, before that I was also looking into maybe computer science. At the start of A levels, I was thinking about that. But then this was like when A levels were reformed and you only needed to do like 3.
Yeah.
And I decided to do a 4th, which was like computer science, but I dropped that after like the first term because I realized like this is a lot of work and I'm not there yet. Like I basically just searched for my grades, my the top unis. And I was just going from there, and then I picked. I can't remember how many options you pick. Like you pick 3.
Well, Newcastle.
Yeah.
There was like 4 or 5, I think.
Oh yeah, 5, and then I think you pick like your top or something.
Top 2, 3, I think.
Yeah. So I just picked like one slightly above my grades, one at my grades, and like one below, kind of just to be safe. And just that's where I landed on Sussex. And I actually, at my A levels, I didn't get the grades I wanted.
Yeah.
But they offered me a foundation year.
Right.
Which it's not like it's sort of like yours, but without like the English, not international foundation thing.
Yeah.
But it just an extra, and I think that really helped me as well. Gave me more time to settle in, and although the requirements for the foundation year, I feel like they were higher than the first year.
Really?
First year, you just needed to pass all modules.
Yeah.
But I think for the foundation year, you needed to get like over a certain threshold.
Oh yeah, no, I think mine was the same. Because on my foundation, so basically like same process of picking unis through UCAS. But then the main reason I wanted to pick Kent was I wanted that campus, like a proper campus feel, like as opposed to like unis, like for example in London where it's all like busy city and all this different type of things going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted that university like proper campus feel.
Yeah.
But then like similar to you, my foundation program, you had to have, I think it was 60 or 70% overall. I think it was 60% overall in everything.
Yeah.
And then I think it's 65 in what you want to progress in.
Yeah.
So you had to do English language, or not English language, it was something like English skills or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what it was called. You have to do that, then it's like essay writing type of thing,
right.
Testing your grammar, all of that type of stuff. Then I did law, politics, and sociology. Those were my three choices. So I passed all three. So at the end of my program, I could have, if I wanted to do sociology instead, if I changed my mind, I could have gone or done politics, but I still wanted to do law, so I went to law.
That's good.
But then that
we don't need another politician.
But then those thresholds that you need to meet, it's like it's definitely tougher than first year, because first year you just need. There's this whole thing of like first year doesn't really matter in university, and technically it doesn't matter in terms of your degree. But then if you're studying something like law, it does matter if you in turn want to go and like apply for like vacation schemes or whatever. But in my foundation, like I made sure to get like, I set my own target of like 70% minimum across everything, and I was able to get that. So
thing is, that whole first year doesn't matter. I think it's dependent on the course as well.
Yeah.
Because for me, like with engineering, there's some fundamental like topics you need to know, some fundamentals in math or physics and whatever, that skills that you just need to have. And also, like, so much the grade isn't that important. Just to pass is enough, and then it doesn't count. But then the actual ethic behind it, like learning to be a hard worker on top of just being smart, like, and knowing like how to sort of manage your deadlines and social life balance, like learning to live by yourself, that cooking, eating good, and I know during first year, like, nobody was eating that well, but
I feel like it really helped me, especially because the main difference I found between like high school and uni, especially with law, was the essay writing. Because you come from like A levels where like you do an essay, you get however much percentage, then you go to uni and you do that same like style of essay, and like I remember my first essay I got like, I think it was like 52 or something.
Hey, shocked.
So I'm like, eesh, okay, this is a bit different. The foundation really helped me in terms of like actually making my essays up to like university standards. And then also in like with the law modules, you're introduced to some of the topics you'll be talking about in first year. So I think the way that helped me was when I went to first year, then, because I feel like if I had gone, especially with lots of people, when you first go to uni in first year, like your first few essays will be those like 52, 48, whatever. But then with me, since I'd already done all that, I'd already gone through all that on foundation. When I went to first year, all my essays were up to like, the 68 and 70s region.
Nice. Which
I found really, especially because then I was doing law, so I wanted to apply for vacation schemes. So when they say, can we see your first year results? They're looking a bit decent, So I think that was really one factor that really helped me like transition into uni. On the social side though, how did you find your uni, Sussex?
Ooh, let me tell you, man. I mean, so my choices were like Bristol or Sussex, and I'd visited both before going to uni. I already liked the feel of Brighton. I already liked the feel of Bristol. And like when I got my grades out, and there was, I can't remember the other uni. It was like Portsmouth or something. Begins with P, and I liked the feel of having a campus.
Yeah.
And a city.
Right.
Because with Sussex, like we have our campus, which is just a bit further out of like the city center.
I remember in those hills.
Yeah. And that's what I liked, like that sort of being near the wilderness, being in the city.
Yeah.
I could go biking and play football.
Mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had the beach as well, and this. I mean, there's so many people there as well that aren't at university that you meet and that are just like locals or they work there, and I think that's an important like factor is being involved in the real world, and because when you're just like visiting some of my friends that went to just purely campus unis, it's a very student.
It's like a bubble.
Yeah. And it just doesn't feel like the real world, you know. Sometimes I'll go there and I'll be like, whew. It's I mean, like it seems like you've never left home or like.
Yeah, I know, especially with Kent, like there's so many like international students. And then if you stay like over in the holidays, like Canterbury like becomes like almost a ghost town sort of.
Yeah.
Because most people go home. So yeah, I can definitely see why like you'd want a mix of like campus and also like the city aspect.
Yeah.
Then obviously we had COVID, so that also impacted the uni experience heavily. When they first announced lockdown, so I was living on campus with like in a flat. You have like in the flats I was living in, it was like 7 of us.
Right.
You each have your own room, your own bathroom. Then you share like the living room and kitchen, type of thing. So when lockdown was first announced, like everyone else in my flat went home.
Everyone,
all 6, because they were all from the UK.
Yeah.
So they could all just go home.
Yeah.
But then for me, it was a thing of I don't really know what's going on. I'll just stay. That was when the fear of COVID even outweighed the risk of COVID. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At that time, everyone was scared. You know, then also I'm asthmatic, so they were saying, you know, if you're part of this group, you better take care.
Risk.
You better watch out. And I'm like, damn, okay. So I think for like the first, I went 7 weeks.
No.
By myself, yeah.
Yeah.
Like 7 weeks, bro. Like, and then also because I wasn't living with anyone, so we weren't really mixing households. Like at that time, everyone was scared of COVID.
Yeah.
That thing of guys were even washing the groceries type of
thing. Thing is though, I was already, for me, adapting to the whole COVID thing was fine because I was already washing my hands all the time. You know, I've been telling this to people, like, guys were never washing their hands. But I was already washing my hands before, like, all the time. And I'm saying that's why I was fine. I didn't change much about myself. The fact that people were out there being like, you guys have to wash your hands more often. I was like, how badly, like...
Stop the cap right there. Please.
I'm just saying.
You're one of the homies that was out here super spreader, bro. You're out here super spreader.
I had my bubble, and I stuck to it.
I feel I definitely was robbed. Like, my last... Like, the second half of my second year and then my whole third year. I was robbed, bro.
Dude, I was actually meant to do a placement. I got like an email back being like, oh, due to unforeseen circumstances, like so many companies were laying off people, firstly. And they were just like, oh, we are deciding to like postpone our placement, student placement opportunities. And I was like, that sucks. So I was like, hey, it's okay, I've got others, you know? So I started applying and then they're like, we've had to like put all our applicants on hold right now while we sort of go through the shift. Yeah. And I was just like so disheartened.
Yeah, no, that happened to me as well, to be fair.
You were going for like the vacation schemes? Or?
Yeah, I had applied for a vacation scheme in my second year. And then, it got cancelled. Literally, COVID. Like, some people made the transition to online faster, but then the one I had, like, they didn't, so they just cancelled it. But then, I mean, that also prompted me to search for other things. Actually, before COVID, I wasn't on LinkedIn. I didn't really use LinkedIn, Then during COVID, it became this whole thing of, like, my uni started doing, like, exercises on now networking is more important than ever because everyone is, you know, on virtual. So I started using it. Then I was able to get, like, another job opportunity through LinkedIn. So... yeah, that's one way I guess COVID helped me improve. But then on the academic side, like, the online classes, man.
It hit
was just-
everyone, I think.
Yeah, I feel like even right now, like there's still a few people doing online.
Yeah, I think it's disappointing when like you have engineering lecturers who can't use.
Yeah, I can
and,
imagine.
like who can't use software properly or having like issues with some
Yeah.
hardware and they're not quick on the uptake. Like I get if you're older and
Yeah.
you're trying to be fair, but it's like I would hope that university at least adapted it better. And then also because some of our coursework is quite demanding software wise, and a lot of our laptops couldn't handle some of the programs.
Yeah, I can imagine because you get like to use the uni resources.
The uni computers, and
Yeah.
I mean they set up basically a remote desktop thing that was terrible. It was basically like lagging on the computers, and then they eventually got an upgrade, but that took. I had to wait till next year, basically.
Because especially like with like the law side of it, if it's not like a very tech-based subject you're doing, like most of your lecturers, especially with law, like most of them are just on the older side, more generally, some of them. So yeah, it was, I don't even know, it didn't feel like I was learning, you know? Like you're watching someone on the screen, you're trying to take notes, but then you're still like in the environment of your room.
Yeah.
And I feel like that lack of separation, like especially for me, I don't know if it's just like for me, but like I need the separation of when I'm learning. Like I go to like my lecture hall, I go to my seminar room.
That's something, a skill I had to learn was sort of compartmentalizing that. Like when I'm doing work, this is now my workspace, not my room anymore.
Yeah,
but that took some time. It took a lot of time.
You still in your last year, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, how is it any different now, or have they made any improvements?
Basically, everything is now in person. Last semester I did have like one module that was online, but that was my business module, which it can be taught online quite easily. Yeah, and to like a high standard at least as well. Yeah. So, but now I'm doing right now this semester has quite a lot of like practical elements of the modules, and it's so much better being in uni, like around the same mindset of people, like where like you decide to go for a break and you just see like that guy who's been there since 6 a.m. still there, not even taking a sip, like his bottle's empty and he's just going hard, like and it motivates me, you know. I'm like, oh, I can't be leaving now, like
it makes you feel bad, huh?
Yeah.
I guess the whole theme of this podcast, or this episode, sorry, not this podcast, has kind of been the roads that we've taken to get to where we are today. The obstacles, you know, the good, the bad.
Who would have thought a pandemic would be one of our obstacles? Eh?
So I mean, some people called it like when they first started coming out of China, you know, like in December. There was like that one guy that went to Italy, then like he flew to UK. Then they're like, okay, now there's one guy in UK for who's come from Italy. We think he might be a super spreader. Then it's like, okay, now there's 23 cases. You're like, okay. Then like, I think it just when Premier League players started getting COVID. Yeah, I remember it was like Arteta and then like some other players. Then that's when like the whole lockdown thing started. But I just remember it was 3 weeks and then back to normal. Like, like I don't know which scientists they were listening to that told them it's just gonna be 3 weeks, and here we are 2 years later, still COVID. Yeah, and now I've made the transition from being a student to being unemployed.
Steep transition.
Hey, bro, steep. Especially because obviously I lived on campus. Yeah. The whole of uni. Then now I've come to London. And I don't know why, but I feel like I took it so... Because I was still applying... Like I was looking at like apartments when I was still in Canterbury. Right. So then now it was nearing the time where it was like, okay, I have to move out of uni. Mm-hmm. But then now I also have to move into my flat. So it was nearing that time of like I need to move out, so I'm like, okay, I need to start, you know, emailing these guys. But then the thing with like agents, I found like don't just call them, don't email, because these guys, they will take days. Some of them will take days to answer you. Yeah. So I remember like there's this one time I called him. He was like, yeah, can you come for a viewing today at 2? And then I had to take the train from Canterbury all the way up here, which is like an hour and some
like a few
minutes.
You've also got to just always like if they're available. Trying to reschedule on your terms can be tough. Yeah. If you're not doing anything, go for it quickly, because like houses can be snatched up so fast. And
that's one thing, bro. Like literally, so that first viewing I did, it was well, obviously, if you're watching I don't know if I don't even know if we'll do this visually, but
Yeah.
if you are, Tim's in my apartment right now. So yeah, the first viewing I did was like of the building like opposite me.
Yeah.
That was the first apartment I saw. And I'm like, yeah, okay, it's nice. You know, you told me all the like the amenities and whatever. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll take it. So I take the train back to Canterbury.
Yeah.
Then it's evening, so I'm like, okay, he sent me like the offer form or whatever it is that you need to fill out with all your details, then send it back to him so you can give it to the landlord.
Yeah.
So now I look at this thing, I'm like, okay, you know, I'll fill this in and I'll send it to him tomorrow morning. Hey, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
You send it to him tomorrow morning? Yeah, sorry, man, this one is gone. I'm like, what? Like, I could not believe it, bro.
I remember there was a time we was like, I think it was like last year, or like 2 years ago. I was with my housemates at the time, and we were looking around for houses, like for all of us, and we found this really nice place, and there was another group viewing it.
Yeah.
And she was just like, it's on a first come first serve basis. So we walked out. We like this place. Let's go to the place right now. Like, let's put the deposit down.
Yeah.
So we walked over there, and like one of us heard the like other people viewing talking about it, and they're like, let's go get this place right now. So we had to start running, and like we arrive, and these guys are already in the place, and we're like, oh my gosh, what the hell? And like we were just checking. We still went in checking, like, did they get it? And then like, yeah, it's all cleared through. Like, payments have come through.
I think that's one thing I definitely wasn't ready for, bro.
Yeah.
Like, these guys move quick, bro.
Yeah.
Especially in London, these guys move quick, man.
Now, London is a different game.
Yeah, bro. I was lucky to get this one, even though it was a few days late. Like, the moving day was a few days later, but
Yeah.
I was able to like build a good relationship with the estate agent. So he like messaged me as soon as this one became available.
Nice.
But yeah, that was just luck, really. But yeah, that was also an experience, bro. Like, moving in. Then now builds as well, because when I was living on uni,
Yeah.
you didn't have to worry about anything.
The council tax, it hits. It hits.
You know, at uni, you just pay the uni. You
Yeah.
have everything: Wi-Fi, water, everything you need is there, paid for in your rent. Then when I came here, okay, you have to set up your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
You have to set up your water, your electricity, your heating, and then you have to do council tax.
You realize 10 degrees inside the house is quite cozy.
Right now, that's why I have a hoodie, because that, especially now with the energy crisis in UK, I'm not using that heating, bro. Like, all these bills, like you have to, you seriously have to budget, man. And then especially that council tax. Like, I've never really taken much interest in my surrounding area. Yeah. But now I want to know where my money is going.
Yeah.
What's the quality of that bridge? Is it being kept?
You're just like every screw, making sure you're getting your money's worth.
Yeah, I mean, that's just real life, adulthood. Just went in feet first, and that's where I'm at right now.
That's good.
Still unemployed, but actually I don't even think I've officially announced it, but yeah, I've got a program I'm doing. I've got a program I'm doing in June, so I won't be unemployed for too long now.
Congratulations.
But cheers, bro. But yeah, it's been a process, man.
Yeah.
Especially applying for jobs, crazy, bro. Especially legal, because obviously that was kind of what I was focused on.
Yeah.
Legal jobs, vacation schemes, training contracts. It's very rigorous, bro.
The competition is fierce for legal.
I was just about to say that. And the guys you're up against,
they are.
These are killers, bro.
Yeah.
These guys don't play around, man.
Oh my! Like, my sister, she did law, and she secured a job, but like her going through it, I remember her telling me about it, and like for like there was one job she did before, and she was literally having to go through like interview stage after stage, and it was literally down to like 2 people, and she just missed it, and then but she's got a job now, and but for law, I feel like competition is just I think it's in London especially
so fierce, bro. And I guess the thing is because the pay is very, very good, especially for
starting
starting position, starting entry.
Like most trainees are making quite a lot.
It's very good, especially if you go for like the high end firms.
Yeah,
it's very good. So obviously, naturally, the competition is even better.
There's very few like small firms in London. Like most of them have business internationally as well, right?
Yeah, most of them. There are a few, especially because obviously I was focused on like sports law. So, which
I
is,
guess that's going to be more local.
yeah, it's kind of it's very niche in the UK right now, sports law. So finding a firm that like focuses solely on sports law as like its main area of focus. There's only like a handful of them that I know in London. So that's a bit more like, because that's a bit more very focused, like just sports law. But then if you look at like, because I also did like I had some work experience at like Stevenson Harwood. And that's like a global like law firm. Like they have offices here in London, Hong Kong, Dubai. Like these guys are big time. So like I went there, I did work experience, and like you can just tell like when you enter even just like when you go to the building and you like see the building. It's like, damn, you even feel like that. Like
this is a $1 million revenue.
Yeah, this is big time, man. This is big time. But then I feel like that whole like law firm environment, like I feel like it was very easy for me to adapt just because of who I am as a person, and you know, especially I feel like with international students, you're forced to adapt this mindset of you have to go somewhere, you have to grind, you have to adapt, you know. You can't. There's really no time for I don't know what the word is, like to slack around. But then because obviously you fly thousands of miles away from home, somewhere you don't know, or maybe you do know. Most of the times you don't, and basically you're by yourself, and you have to make new connections, new friends. And it forces you to just adapt to very a mindset that I feel has helped me like in like going for jobs and stuff.
For me, changing schools, that helped me. And I mean, from my like the way I've been brought up, I've always moved, so it's quite easy. It's very easy for me to adapt to my surroundings. But I do understand how so many people like can find that difficult.
Find it challenging.
It's also finding like people who you can get along with and understand. And
true. I mean, some people just adapt to change better. Then also it helps if, for example, you play sports. Like I feel like football. I feel like that's just the one thing. Like you can just go anywhere. You'll find someone who you can relate to on those terms. And it's just a good way to like meet new people.
That's the thing. Playing sports, you can make friends so easily from that. Like any like team sports, they create a social dynamic. I mean, like you helped your team get back up, like because of the COVID like pandemic. All sports were like cancelled. But
it was a thing of I made the All Things Football Society. So like you said, COVID. Then, because obviously my team, we were playing in the amateur league. So these guys were like, the uni was like, okay, we're only going to start back up the official teams and people who are affiliated with their respective unions or associations. So basically, for all of us that played amateur football, which was relatively more than the people who play for the teams, because obviously the teams, they do tryouts, they only take a few people. But then obviously amateur football, like literally anyone can join. So there was a lot of people who weren't playing, let's just say that. And then obviously it became to a point of, then they moved it to you can only play 6 people. There was that rule of 6. Then obviously for a sport like football, how can you play
3-on-3?
3v3? Like it's just, it was just very frustrating. So long story short, I made
that's the system.
They told me like you have to be associated. So I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do that? You need to either be a football club, a club, or a society. So I'm like, okay, I'll make a society. I made it free for everyone. I got associated with
I wouldn't have done that.
Got associated with the Kent FA, the Football Association, and then we were able to start playing up to 30, which obviously you can do 11v11 or however many. So that's basically just how that was the whole premise behind it. Like we guys just wanted to play, and then obviously now that I've graduated, passed the reins on. I can still see like they still have their weekly sessions or whatever. So the whole thing, I guess that it turned into was just people who love football and just want to connect with people of a same mind. And I guess for sometimes I even forget I'm doing this podcast. I don't even know who's listening to this, but if you're someone who's about to go into uni or in uni right now. Societies can be a good way to,
Yeah.
connect with people, especially on campus. Like I
Yeah.
think there's even a few in my uni, like Harry Potter Society, Quidditch
You get
Society.
Flat Earth Society is one of
Yeah,
mine.
like you'll find your people. Like whoever you are, you'll find your people there somewhere. So we're going for Kalale.
I can't this time, man. I'm busy. I've got to work, man. I've got to work hard.
This guy. But yeah, so if you don't know, Kalale is fashion show that the East African Society in Kent does like yearly. So I think this the one they're doing right now is going to be the first one since the one I did when I was on the committee before COVID. So hopefully I make it back down for that, just to support my fellow East Africans.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, you said you're working, but I mean, some of the jobs you've had.
Dude, you gotta dip your toe into every pot.
Let's get into it. This guy, I know there's one time he was working as a chef's assistant or something.
Yeah.
At a pub. Then he did some swimming training, became a lifeguard.
So
tell us a bit about these
these
experiences.
these are like summer jobs, just to just earn some money on the side and to. Well, like partially, thing is, if I wasn't doing anything, I'd be so bored.
Yeah.
My parents would be like, "Why don't you just come back home and do nothing at home?" And doing nothing at home is very different to doing nothing in your own place.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've done like work experience in the past with more serious stuff, like working in some companies But the chef working in the kitchen, that was just by luck, I was at this like pub. It was actually by bad luck, let me tell you that. I was at this pub and like arrived. I was like, "Hi, I'm here for a trial shift." And the guy's like, "Oh, okay." And they put me on the bar.
Yeah.
I was like, I've never worked in a bar. And I was behind there and I was like talking to one of the other people. I was like, I didn't even apply for this position. I'm just here in the bar. Like, the guy just told me to come here. He's like, "Wait, you didn't apply for this?" I was like, "Nah, I looked at some like kitchen job or something. Like, I was hoping to just eat some food, I didn't even know. I didn't even read the role properly, bro. But eventually I just, they were like, "Oh," the guy called, like, to talk to the manager. I was like, why is he going to the manager right now? Like, I'm happy being in the bar.
Yeah.
And they just took me upstairs to the kitchen. I was like, I've arrived in hell. I mean, I was eating a lot. I was just there like, I was learning quite a bit about cooking actually, and using like some of the knives and plating up food, like presenting it. And, actually, I remember a time a woman sent back some food because she was missing some calamari. I'm sorry to that woman.
Was that you?
Yeah. Yeah, I just because like there's always some food on the side, and I just thought that plate was not going, so I was like, "Oh, take a piece." And
Wait, so you ate the customer's food?
hey, I took one piece. She sent the plate back with like 4 missing. I was like, I didn't get enough, and I was there like, shit.
Tim's my guy, but if I'm never gonna go eat at a restaurant this guy's working in the kitchen, I'm not going to eat at this guy's restaurant.
Why? Bro, you know I can cook.
Let's just not even get into it, man. Yeah, what about the lifeguard job though?
That's pretty fun. That's easy.
Yeah.
You just sit on a chair, watch a pool. You can do your own things in your head, really. I mean, that one you just had to do like some kind of test.
Yeah.
You had to learn like CPR, life-saving skills in the water, out the water. Like what to do if someone has having a heart attack, stroke.
Yeah.
When you think about the training that you do,
Yeah.
and you don't realize how much you have to look out for, if someone slips, like what the protocols and like how liable you are for any injuries as well, if you do not like properly treat them. And there's been no incidents with me personally, but I know like other lifeguards have told me like a time where like maybe I wasn't working that day and there's like a kid had a seizure, or
Oh.
I remember there's one kid that was trying to drown on me, but I took care of that, don't worry. Yeah, this kid like just went down the slide and couldn't swim, and just started like writhing in the waters, and I was like, "Oh no!" So I ran quickly, and I was like, "Whew, I'm not gonna jump in. There's a woman right there." I just told her, "Pick him up, please," and they saved. You don't always have to get wet to save a life,
Oh my goodness! And, for the training for that job, did you have to? How do you even train? How do you like interview for a job like that? You have to just swim.
Basically, so the
It's a new freestyle.
Yeah, dude, the interview was like asked me some questions about like safety, like what, like can I be careful around chemicals, that kind of thing. Like, basic stuff that you could really just pass on a whim. And then they asked me to swim like a few lengths of the pool in a certain amount of time, see if you're quick enough. And then I had to like dive down to the bottom, be able to pick up a dummy.
Right.
It was pretty heavy. And then just that's it. And then like, and then to pass the actual qualification, you need to like swim with someone for a short distance.
Yeah.
It's really not that difficult if you like.
If you know how to swim.
Yeah. And or getting up to that point, like up to that standard as well. Like you can train if you're swimming a lot in that like training.
Yeah, of course, I can imagine.
Yeah, but these are just fun little jobs.
I mean, yeah, because personally, I don't think I've had any like jobs like that.
Yeah,
I feel like I've always had things that are
work experience.
Yeah, like proper. I mean, the only thing I did, but I guess was kind of official and unofficial, was working back in 2017. There was the IAAF under 18 athletics that were held in Nairobi. So I think my dad got me to work for him on that.
Yeah.
Actually, I worked with Tiger and Moses.
Really?
Yeah. That was kind of our summer job. We were working in the athlete accommodation.
When was this?
Like after year 13.
Oh, right.
So I think it was like July of 2017. We worked like in the athlete accommodation. So
what are you doing? Just
so basically, because they were being housed in like the empty like Kenyatta University accommodations,
dorms,
the dorms. Yeah. So obviously you have blocks with different countries.
Yeah.
So if you're placed in one block, you need to know which nations you have.
Yeah.
Some teams needed like transport to go see, like for example, if they're visiting the ambassador in Nairobi for like their country.
Yeah.
So like I think like the Swedish team went to visit like the Swedish ambassador or whatever.
Yeah.
You need to arrange transport for them.
So like organizers.
Yeah, you need to organize for them transport. You need to then everyone has to be like going for dinner and meals at like a certain time.
Yeah.
Going for training, especially, that was the main thing. Training at the stadium. You need to get transport for the training. The bus to the stadium, even though it wasn't too far, but you still needed to make sure everything was on schedule.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was basically what we had to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was pretty fun because it was the under 18 championship, so literally everyone there was our age.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was, you get to interact with like people from Germany, from literally loads of countries all over the world. And I guess that's the most. No, I guess you can say odd job that I've ever done, because then from that it's been at a law firm or sports tech or whatever else.
I forget how how my bubble is and how much I am in a bubble, even though I have friends in different places or whatever from different backgrounds, but we still all have like the same sort of mindsets and working those odd jobs and with other people who you wouldn't necessarily like meet in the same places.
In your day-to-day life,
Yeah. And you're just like, wow, you forget that there's like so much more going on, and it's quite eye-opening. And
when I went to uni, I had this mindset of, especially like international students, most people that we know, like you go uni, then in summer you go back to Kenya, everyone meets up in Kenya and they're like, having a good time, whatever. But then for me, it was just a thing of, I want to work. I want to get experiences. I want to, expand my boundaries.
Yeah.
So getting jobs. There are jobs to get through the uni, although I didn't really do that. I like my own direction. But then I'd definitely say like staying in the UK, and not going home.
Yeah.
Was something that I wanted to do. But then obviously that was pre-pandemic, because then pandemic started and then I wasn't able to go home, and then it became like a thing of didn't even see like my mom, for example, for like 2 years until I literally only went back in November.
I remember like the year of the pandemic, I was meant to see my parents like in the summer when it started, like in like January or something, and they were in Ethiopia at the time, and they just left Ethiopia at the time to come to the UK. Yeah. Because if anything happened, like if they needed to go to hospital or whatever because of COVID, they were like, at least let me be in the UK where like it won't be as stressed. Yeah. Because in Ethiopia, amount of hospitals and whatever. But yeah, I can't imagine 2 years without seeing your mom, man.
Yeah, my mom, my little brother. I think even my middle brother as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very long. Long time. But yeah, got through it and we're here today. So I guess we've gone on and on about loads of different things. But yeah, I guess, yeah, I mean, I don't really know how to sign off.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, I usually just sign off when it's by myself, but
You just turn it off.
yeah,
No good vibes.
Okay, bye, thank you. But yeah, if you've even listened this far, damn, that's all I can say. I can't believe you've listened this far, man. But yeah, thank you, and gonna try get another episode out
Nice.
sometime in the future.
And maybe you can come to Brighton. We record there. Get some seagulls.
Hey, definitely not. But yeah, yeah. Thanks to Tim for joining the pod.
Nice.
You guys, let me know in the comments if there's something we should come back.
Wow.
But no, yeah. Thanks for coming down, man, and
It's a pleasure, man.
for the convo in it. Yeah, but you'll definitely feature again for sure.
Of course, I own half of this now. Huh?
Yeah, definitely gonna feature again. So yeah, this has been 22 and No Clue. It's been your boy Kyle Gasheru and
Tim Arden.
yeah, my homie Tim. And thank you, appreciate you. Peace.
Bye.